Hey y'all, so today I'm giving y'all the tea, all the makeup tea that you would ever need because I want you to be beat, and for my makeup artist, I want your clients to be beat. And we're starting off by priming our client's skin or your skin. And as you saw, I'm using the Photo Finish Smashbox primer. This primer gives you a great smooth base to basically start on, and you want to use a stippling brush to apply this or your fingers, and you want to apply this primer everywhere on the face except the eyelids. Ladies, set your brows. I don't know if you ever had your makeup done and you've taken a picture and your eyebrows look greasy. If you have had that problem, definitely do not neglect to set your brows. I'm using the Laura Mercier powder to set my clients' brows today before I begin filling them in. And then I use the spoolie on the back of my eyebrow pencil to basically brush away the excess powder because you don't need that to stay there after it's set. But if you guys noticed, if you're not new to my channel, I'm using a new eyebrow pencil today, and this is from an African makeup company that I follow on Instagram. I noticed that they create hair-like strokes on all of their clients that look very realistic, and because this pencil is so thin, it would allow you to do the same. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this video play in real time because even though I explained how I fill in brows many times, this is for anybody who still needs some help or who still just wants like a detailed look at exactly how I do it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the clip just so you know this won't be dragging on too long. Don't want y'all to get bored now. Also, take it easy, ladies. When you're filling in your brows, you do not need to have a heavy hand whatsoever. Matter of fact, the lighter you go, the more realistic the brow is gonna look. So don't be so heavy handed while doing this. And when you get to the front of the brow, you do want to start doing the hair like strokes going upwards to make it more realistic. Now we're going to go ahead and clean up the brows. And if you're not new to my channel, I always use the same concealer, LA Girl, and the same eyebrow brush from Morphe or Morphe. I still don't know how you say that company's name. I'm going to figure it out, I promise. But I use this brush so many times that the name of the brush has actually worn off. So I'm going to Google it, and then the exact brush name is going to be in the description box. So fear not, okay? I'm giving you all the tea today. And I'm using the LA Cosmetics concealer in the color Fawn to carve out and clean out the bottom of her brows. And I'm going to take the rest of the concealer to use as a base for my eyeshadow, dragging it onto the rest of the lid. After that's done, as you can see, you want to go ahead and smoothen that out with a brush just to make sure that everything is even before you begin your eyeshadow. And a lot of people on YouTube, I noticed, do not set their concealer because it does help for the eyeshadow color to pop out more for a sticky base. But I don't want my base so sticky that it starts to look messy when I put on my eyeshadow. So lightly, I'm gonna set it with some Laura Mercier translucent powder before I go ahead and start with my foundation. My concealer did like touch the eyebrows a little bit, so I'm just going back in to fill that in right now. Okay, so I got my Morphe. Y'all know I'm finna figure it out. But I have my palette, and it's the 35B palette, and I'm taking a blending brush, and any blending brush is gonna work for this. Mixing those two colors, the deeper purple and that lighter pink, I'm basically going to pat this color all over her lid. And it might help to have your client look at you so you can see exactly where the crease begins so that you don't go over that line. And like I said, any blending brush would work for this process as long as it's not so big that it goes over the lid. And grabbing that same palette, because we're going to be using the same palette for this entire look, I'm going into the black, and I'm using that same brush that I've used previously, and I'm going to do basically circular motions to go ahead and deepen that shade a little bit more, because at the end of this, I want this look to look very smoky, and for it to look smoky, it has to go from dark on the lids to light above the crease. So now that I have that, you know, as the color that I want it to be, which is a deep purplish pinkish color, I went into the pink alone, and then I took a clean blending brush, and I'm basically going to do circular motions starting from the crease and up. I basically want this pink to blow out so that it can look like a smoky pink eye. I don't want to say pink eye because that's gross, but that's kind of what it is. Now we're going to use some glitter. I've also grabbed my NYX glitter glue, and before I apply the glitter, I'm just placing that glitter glue all over the lid because that's where the glitter is going to go. Do not put the glitter glue above the lid or on the crease or anywhere near that brows. Literally have your client look at you like she did and place that glitter glue on the lid and on the lid alone. Using the same brush, you dip into your glitter mixtures and you want to go ahead and apply that all over the lid. After you're done with your eyeshadow, you can go ahead and apply lashes on yourself or on your client. And I don't sell these lashes, but these lashes got sent to me, so I decided to use them on her because I liked how they looked. They were dramatic, they were full, and I felt like this look called for a dramatic and full lash. And she did that because I asked her if she felt comfortable with the lashes on, which you should always ask your clients, because if you place a lash too close to the inner corner of somebody's eye, that could poke them in the eye all day. So you just want to make sure that they're good with that. And I went in with the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation in 368, and I'm using a Real Techniques brush to go ahead and apply that all over her face. And if you can tell, I am patting this foundation onto her skin. I'm not buffing it into the skin. I'm not doing any type of circular motions. I'm patting it onto her skin because that's how you're going to get your best coverage. Okay? I never clean up, well, most times I say that I do not clean up the top of anybody or my brows with concealer because it just starts to look a little bit too perfect to me, and that's not a look to just look so carved out and so perfect. So as you can see here, I'm actually using my foundation brush to just clean up the top of the brows a little bit more. That's the best way to do it. Like, it's all in the technique. You can use your eyebrow brush, but if it's too big and you feel like it's getting in your way, just take a small blending brush and do it that way. And after you have your foundation like all over the face, you want to take a beauty blender to go ahead and smoothen that out with the back of the beauty blender. No need to pick up any more product, just smoothing out the product that you already have on the face. And I'm giving y'all some tea here. The middle of the brows, you don't want to use your big foundation brush or a beauty blender to go ahead and apply foundation here because it might take out some of the eyeshadow that you just took so much time to do, and it might take off some of your brows, which you don't want to happen. So take a small blending brush and fill in the foundation in the middle of her brows and in the middle of her eyes that way. And here I'm using my Tarte Creaseless concealer in the shade Tan Deep Sand, and I'm highlighting all the areas that I like to highlight, which is under the eyes, the chin, the nose, and the middle of the forehead. And I did want to go ahead and make that color just a little bit darker, so I added some LA Girl Fawn on top of that, and I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend all of that out. You guys can't tell, but I am like blending this ever so lightly. You do not have to be beating up your face or beating up your client face with this beauty blender to get it to blend out. And I don't know if anybody has ever told you, but there's such thing as over blending to the point where like you blend so much it doesn't even look like there's a highlight here. You still want it to be very much beat but blended, so take it easy. Okay, ladies, take it easy. And here I'm sharing another great tip with you guys. Take the back of your beauty blender, the part that has leftover foundation on it, and go ahead and blend out the perimeter of the concealer. So you're going to blend out around the cheeks, blend out around the chin, blend out around the forehead, just so you can't tell where the concealer started and where it ended. This MAC concealer palette is very old, so I do not know like what, I think it's the Warm palette, but I don't know. But I'm taking the yellow color, and as you can see, I placed that on the back of my hand, and I popped that beauty blender into the product, and I just wanted to go ahead and brighten up some of the highlighted areas a little bit further by doing so before I set. And to set, I'm using the Anastasia, am I lying? Yeah, I'm lying. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder with the Sacha Buttercup powder. I mixed both of them because the yellow is too yellow and the white is too white. Even though it's translucent, it's too white. My MAC Mineralized skin finish powder is my holy grail, and if you keep up with my channel, you should know that I love this product. I am taking this product in Dark Deep, and I'm gonna basically set her entire face. The only parts of her face that I am not gonna buff out with this product is the places that you see the highlighted setting powders on, and everywhere else gets it with this powder. I'm going to use circular motions to blend up into the highlighted areas again, because that's how we merge, that's how we blend, that's how we get the flawless finish. You have to blend up into the highlighted areas. You just don't have to put this powder on the highlighted areas, at least not at this moment. So after you get that done, I'm going to go ahead and contour. You're going to go ahead and contour. And I'm using the Black Radiance palette in medium to dark, I believe it was, but you saw the name right there. And what I like to do is I have my clients suck in their cheeks, and the lines that you see that appear when you do that, that's how you know where you want to place your contour color. You want to keep that contour color above that line that gets created when you or your client makes the fish face. So after you add some contour powder from the ears to the cheek area, you can go ahead and add some contour powder along the hairline. You just want to follow your client's original hairline. Don't get this powder too much into the center of her face, or else you're just going to create a whole shadow onto her forehead. Remember, you have to still save that highlighted area, but you still need to create some shadows to make this look realistic, because that's how our face really looks. In this part, you don't necessarily have to do, but if you want a chiseled look, a more perfected look, you can go ahead and add some of that contour powder to the bottom of the jawline, because that's just going to chisel your client a little bit more. You know, if you got a little bit of a double, triple chin, that'll help with that as well. I don't have that much of a double chin, and I still do this to myself, so anybody could get that work, to be honest with you. So we did just use a different contour color to add the shadows to the face, but literally the Fenty Sunstalker shade in Mocha Mami is a dream on deeper skin tones. So I just added that color on top of what I had already done. Same exact places, same exact technique, just a different color. And to carve out the cheeks, you want to have your client or you suck in your cheeks again, do the fish face, and just go ahead and carve out that cheek using your setting powder mixture right on the line that appears when you squeeze your cheeks together. And if you want to go ahead and add a little bit of more bronzer after you do that, you can, which is what I'm doing here before I added my blush. This blush is very old and it has no name, so I really cannot tell you where it's from, but lately I've really been feeling heavy blush looks. Like, the more blush the better. It just looks very romantic, it makes you look sweet. I just really been feeling it lately, and I add this onto the cheeks, and I also add a little bit onto the forehead. Next, you want to grab your MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder again, but this time you want to grab a lighter shade, and this shade is dark. And I use that shade basically to sweep away the setting powder that's under her eyes, because I want to keep under her eyes bright, and this is going to help in doing so. And once that's done, you can go ahead and grab your bronzer, grab your contour shade, grab a small blending brush, and you want to go ahead and contour the nose, which I've shown you guys before, so I didn't have that much detailed clips on that. So when you're done with that, go back into your MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder, into the dark deep shade, or into your skin tone shade, and you want to sweep away all of the setting powder from the entire face. You want to blend the entire face using circular motions with this powder. And when I say the entire face, I mean everywhere. You can go on top of the brows, you can go the middle of the nose, on top of the lip, everywhere. Just blend the face together, because honestly, that is how you're gonna get your perfect blend, ladies. You're welcome. A couple years ago, not exactly quite sure exactly when, well, a couple years ago, I had ordered from the UK on a website called Shops and Me's Boutique. I ordered some loose glow powder in the colors in Halo, and I'm just using that to go ahead and highlight the cheekbones using circular motions, the nose, on top of the brows, her cupid's bow, and it's just a champagne gold color. Sometimes I like to pick it up on my clients. And for glow powder, I would recommend building, meaning start with a little bit, because you don't want to look overwhelmingly shiny. So start with a little bit. If you want more, add more, but don't start with so much initially. By the way, when I talk in my English accent, that's Lady P. I call her Lady Penelope. I don't want anybody to get offended by that. I'm not making fun of people with English accents. I love their accent, and I wish I was them. But anyways, I'm using my Fix Plus, which is another Holy Grail product of mine, and I actually spray my clients 2 times, and after I'm done spraying them, I take the back of the beauty blender to basically press that moisture into the skin. This is what's going to help your makeup all come together and look flawless and not so powdery anymore. And look, isn't this perfect? I think it is. But to finish off the look, you finish with the eyes, and I'm taking a black pencil to go ahead and add that to the waterline, and I'm going to smoke out the bottom of her eyes as well with exactly the same colors that I used on the lids. I'm going to leave all the lip product details in the description box below. This is like a great look to wear on Valentine's Day for those of you who have dates. I'm not one of those. But if you do have a date, this is definitely a Valentine-y look. Like, it's a look, period. So I just added some curls, and basically that finished off the look. This is the final look. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Give me a thumbs up if you learned something from this video, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.